فأنا أريد أن تكون هناك محاكمة، ولكن أريدها محاكمة عادلة، محاكمة في بلد ليس هو الخصم وهو الحكم في نفس الوقت، بلد محايد يستطيع أن يأخذ كل الحقائق المطروحة ويحكم. أنا واثق من براءتي، واثق من براءة بلدي. أنا أريد الحقيقة أن تطلع، لأني أريد أن يعرف الجميع أنني بريء.
هذه هي حقوق الإنسان. عندما يرغم إنسان على المثول أمام محكمة معادلة يرفض المثول أمامها، هذه هي حقوق الإنسان. عندما تفرض العقوبات على دولة لكي تتنازل عن حماية مواطنيها وتدوس على حقوقهم الإنسانية، هذه هي حقوق الإنسان. نحن لسنا أطفال، نحن لسنا صدق حتى نصدق ترهات الغرب والتدفق الفارغ الذي لا معنى له في حقوق الإنسان.
اتوقع التهديد دي ضربها لنا كحجة في موضوع لوكربي، كحجة لا أكثر ولا أقل. نتوقع كل شيء يديروه ضد ال 86. نتوقع ماذا ما حدث في 86.
والشعب الليبي بريء من هذه التهمة، واحنا نرفض التفكير.
الحقيقة ما نتوقعش تسليمهم، ونعارض حتى لو أنهم هم طلبوا تسليم أنفسهم بأنفسهم.
منذ سماعي بإعلان اسمي في الإذاعات لازلت أتذكر بأن سمعتها يوم الأربعاء بالمساء. الخميس حاولت الاتصال بمركز الشرطة التابع لمنطقتي، ولكن كان ليس لديهم أي إجراءات معينة. فأنا شخصيا اللي سلمت نفسي للسلطات الليبية.
يعتقدون أن بالحصار والتهديد وبالإرهاب رسمي، يعتقدون أن الشعب الليبي سيتنازل عن ابنائه وعن قانونه الوطني وعن سيادته وعن حقه بالحرية. هذه إهانة أيها الأخوة إذا تنازلنا عن أبنائنا، إذا تنازلنا عن قانوننا الوطني، هذه إهانة موجهة لنا جميعا لآبائنا وأجدادنا الشهداء والأبطال.
Ghadames, 700 kilometers from the Libyan coastal plain, the place where we had lunch, the legend says. Two camel drivers meeting and having lunch. One to come back to where he had left something, so the place where they had lunch.
Walled oasis city, rebel territory, already in Phoenician times. When in 1911 the Italian army invaded Libya, as the Libyans were pushed back after the death of Omar Mokhtar, the Libyan leader, hanged by the Italians in 1931, it was to this rock, the citadel in the desert near Ghadames, that the Libyan survivors withdrew.
To emerge, to raid the Italians, to ambush the French Foreign Legion. Then for 4 years during World War II, the Italians and Germans, English, French and Anzacs push each other back and forth through the great Libyan desert. Since 1911, 1 million Libyan dead piling up. Never again. There will be no surrender of sovereignty. Again, a hand, a bag, and a baggage tag, and now, a boy.
Our family told him, we send you to Germany, and from Germany you can go to America. To give him that address when he come to Germany. In Germany, stay here by some friend, and he fixed for him what he fixed in his back, in the tape recorder. That's what we seen is Hezbollah behind Khalid, what he done to him.
Lebanon, the Bekaa, Baalbek, and on the ridge, another Israeli airstrike. The people Israel is targeting, Hezbollah. Drugs and terrorism. hostage country.
I came to be involved with the DEA. I got involved in trafficking cannabis products and eventually was arrested and struck a secret plea agreement with the government whereby they eventually decided to send me to Lebanon, not for cannabis products, but to basically bust the largest heroin producers on the planet.
They could not eradicate the drugs in Lebanon, so they only could do two things. That is to monitor what was being produced and how it was being shipped out, and two, use DEA informants from Lebanon in drug sting operations back in the United States to set up drug buys and catch drug buyers in the U.S. And that was a big part of what they were doing. The DEA informants would fly in to Los Angeles, for example, or Detroit, and they would be loaned out to the local DEA office and used in a drug sting operation. Many times they would haul in heroin with them in a controlled delivery. Sometimes they would take in cash and act as a buyer.
The scheme involved infiltrating DEA agents from all of Western Europe into a Lebanese network.
The DEA office in Cyprus was responsible for monitoring drug activities in Lebanon. They had to do it from a distance because they were not allowed, the agents themselves were not allowed to step foot in Lebanon. So they were relying on anything and everything their informants were telling them.
And by that time, which was in the 80s, the mid-80s, the people that were in the heroin business were also involved in financing Syrian terrorism.
Lebanon is a conduit for a great deal of drugs, and the organizations that are moving it through, or at least supporting the movement through, are the violent political organizations such as the Hezbollah, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, and now Hamas. They are directly connected with much of the drug trafficking through that area.
The heroin laboratories themselves were located in the Bekaa Valley. The major one was run by Jamil Hamia, who was a target of our investigation, and he was in the process of producing over 100 kilos on a single batch for part of a 1,000-kilo shipment. And they would obtain the opium from Diyarbakir in Turkey, transport it with the Syrians into Lebanon, and then process it. But it was a method for financing, at the first level, internal military action in Lebanon, and at the second level, as it turns out, to finance terrorist activities in Europe and abroad.
It was arranged by the DIA for me to go over and work for the DEA in this narcotics operations group, headed by Michael T. Hurley, who was the country attaché in those days. And my main responsibility was to gather intelligence in Lebanon related to opium production and trafficking and illegal ports and